All righty. Yeah, I love that 150 plus are on the pre-party. So I always love this part. And if you're not showered yet, it's all good to go. This is like we wake up, we have coffee, we get after it. This is kind of a symbol for what we do. We get after life and our whole best life possible. So if you're not ready to share, or you can put it in the chat, but what is one of your greatest wins recently? It could be in your health, could be in something you've seen in your business, life, other people's health. Who wants to share some wins as we kick off today? Because I know we're changing lives, ours and others. Who has some wins they want to share? Go ahead and just take yourself off of mute. Here's some.
Brad, it's Denise. I'll jump in.
Go for
I
it.
was just sitting here thinking 6 years of being on these trainings. And like you said, yeah, losing 100 pounds kind of helps. I can't wait to get up in the morning. But you guys, I get giddy at night and I can't wait for these the next morning. I've been doing these 6 years. And it used to be just a phone call, but now we get to see your faces. And Brad and Dawn and Susan and all the leaders, thank you for doing these. It really fills my cup and helps motivate me to do better on my own journey and watch my business could explode over these years. So
I love that. I love that, Denise. It's been a fun ride, and I can't believe like now it's like I can't remember. I can't even think about there was a time that we didn't know you and your family. It's fun. We've had a lot of adventures. I'm looking at the chat here. Allison, you signed up your first person to pay it forward. Morgan, you find direction in your life. So many good things here. We're in from all over US. 9 years in your health journey, Don. This is amazing. Anyone else want to share any wins here before we kick off today? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'll share one, Brad.
Go for it, Casey. There's my man. Hey, dude.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. No, we just had a couple of coaches who have really dove back into their own personal health journey, and they had been at their goal weight or very close to their goal weight for a long time, but just got a little bit complacent or thinking that maybe this was about as good as it was going to get. And by just taking a look back into the OPTAVIA guide and just refocused on everything that's in there, it's been mind-boggling, the changes that have happened. And when you're confident knowing that we've got one of the best programs on the planet, well, the best program on the planet, then you can share that with everybody because you know that the science is there, you know that the success is going to happen. And when you're feeling good and getting up early in the morning and just want to help people, it moves the whole world forward. So it's been cool to see that.
Okay. Casey, I'm so glad you jumped in and said, hold on a second. I got to mute a few people. Actually, mute them all. Here we go. All right. Actually, quick housekeeping before we hop in there. If there's not a red line through your microphone, then you're live on the call, which we love, but you might end up saying some things or be talking over anyone. So I know we have a lot of new coaches, so I want to give that housekeeping thing. The chat is open, utilize it. I'm watching all the wins in there, but I just want to say something before we pop in on that, Mark, Casey, I appreciate you so much, your determination to keep pushing forward in your health, how you inspire others by living out loud. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. But also just like that you've spent so many years in the personal training, fitness, nutrition era, and just the excitement. You've been coaching for about 8 years now, and just the excitement that you get up every day to help transform lives. Like, man, there's a lot of things that we accomplish with our health, but there's one thing that Dr. Ray talks about in the habits of health is that purpose is probably one of the most important things. And that's one thing we all have here. So I want to congratulate all you new coaches that have taken that step, because you've added a whole nother facet. You are now 5 times more likely to reach and maintain your healthy weight. But now you've added a whole nother part of this, which is a next level community of people that want to change lives, not only their own, but others. Sorry, I got to mute someone real quick. And also purpose that drives us each and every day, like Denise. Like, who wants to get up every single day early and change lives? Denise does, especially when you've lost 100 pounds and gotten out of a wheelchair. Another story for another day. We have so many stories that we would love to share with you today, but we can't combine them all into a call. But with that being said, let's kick off today. You'll have to bear with me. Hopefully you can see me okay. I live in the Northwest. Shout out to everyone in the PNW. There's this thing called like this light in the sky. It doesn't usually come out, and right now it's shining in my face, so I apologize if you can't see me though. Casey, you're checking? You're like, oh my gosh, is there actually sun outside? No, not for you? Okay. It's just peeking over the horizon right now. So, but anyways, without any further ado, we're a couple minutes over 7. Let's get into today. We are welcome and excited to be, welcome for all of you, and we're excited to be on with you today. For those that don't know me, my name is Brad Miller. I'm an integrated presidential director, part of your support team. But really all that means is that my wife, Ashley, and I partner with a lot of great people, and we've changed a lot of lives. And we want to welcome you to this community. And one of the first things we want to say here is we're excited for you. And some of you that actually, I'm even more excited for you. This is probably the most excited part of the journey that I get excited or that I love for people is that next step where like they're in their health. This is going to add fuel to your journey. This is going to awaken new steps along the way. You're going to help new people and you're becoming part of our next level family of coaches. So we just want to say welcome and welcome because you're crazy enough to get at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. And I just want to say that this is how we get after it. We generally do our trainings at this time. There will be a training series that we do at the end of this month to help you continue to grow. But that's what we do. We get on, we learn, we get in community together, and then we get after the day because we want to enjoy this thing called life and change lives. So anyways, I want to welcome all of you new coaches here today. And actually in the chat here, drop me a 1 in the chat if you are a new coach, brand new to our community in the last 2 weeks or so. Awesome. So many of you guys. Brian, man, and you have an awesome health journey. Morgan, Julie, congrats. Congrats, you guys. This is a big step. And what I want to say is welcome. I'm so glad you guys took the time to dive in because you get out of things what you put into them. And I remember when I was a brand new coach, I was nervous. I was a little excited. But you know, I remember back to where I was when I started. Ashley and I had watched my family transform. As a whole family, my family's lost over 2,000 pounds, radically have changed our lives. We're chain breakers of an unhealthy lifestyle, paying it forward to lots of people. But I actually remember thinking like, man, who am I going to talk to? I mean, can I really help someone? And honestly, if I'm being truthfully honest, I was actually saying, you know what, this is more of Ashley's thing. I'm going to be supportive. Well, I'm not going to mute someone real quick. But I'll be supportive, but I don't really know if I can do this. I was scared. I was excited. I was nervous. I actually, even funnier story, I told Dr. A because we actually went to a convention to actually find out if this was a fit for us. And once I saw the heartbeat of what Dr. A talked about and the mission to create health in America, that's actually what sold it because I was like, that's what he's done for my family and that's the mission that he's on. I want to be part of that. And he actually asked me, he's like, all right, you ready to start? And I go, Dr. A, you don't understand. I don't know, like I'm just young. I don't have a weight loss story yet. You know, I don't know who I'm going to talk to. My family's I had every excuse in the book. But what he said is if you just talk to people, people are looking for health. And then someone else said later on, like 60% of the American population is overweight or obese, and the other third do not want to be. And they value nutritional simplicity, community, and everything that we offer. Casey's nodding his head because he totally gets it. So we are excited to welcome you today because we know what it's like. It's an exciting time in there. And this training is going to be a little bit different. If you haven't already seen it yet, there is a starting point video. It helps like all the basic stuff that you're getting started with coaching. I'd recommend watching it. My friend Dan Valentine hosts that call. It's really good. We'll go over a couple of things on that today. But today's call is going to be a little bit different. I just got to mute someone real quick. Because we're going to focus on getting started. But we're going to focus on, you guys got up at 7 a.m., especially, if you're on the West Coast. You guys got up at 7 a.m. to learn to dive into coaching. We know you're going to be successful at this stuff. We're going to focus on really what's going to set you up for success in your first 30 to 60 days. We already know you're going to be successful. One thing I'm really proud of in our organization, we are all part of OPTAVIA, or we are one big OPTAVIA family, but in our organization, we have a really successful rate of helping people reach senior coach. It's like close to 50% of people that do that. But what I'm really excited to tell you is that 100% of people reach senior coach, the next steps and beyond that what we share with you today. It's not if or when it's going to work. It's like program. It will work if you do the steps. So I know a lot of you guys are here dreaming, thinking, is this for me? Like, little like nervous, probably like how I was when I first started coaching. But if you guys do these steps that we cover with you today, more things than you think that are possible as you grow in this community will happen for you. So I'm so excited for you as this happens. I'm just watching the chat light up here. So that being said, today is going to be about 45 minutes. It's going to be off the cuff, like unplugged. We're just chilling today this morning because our goal is to help you kind of get into the minds of what it's going to take to help get started really well and what you should be working on with the first few steps. So with that being said, I always like asking this as we get started. Oh, and actually one more thing I was going to add in there. The other reason why we're focusing on the first 30 to 60 days is just like your health. And I'm sure some of you guys are probably thinking about this right now as you're getting started. You probably didn't see the most important parts of your journeys until probably 30 to 60 days in. Luckily, our program works really well. So you probably saw a lot of weight loss the first few weeks. That's one thing that we have a benefit of. That's why Casey talked about our program being the best. But probably some of the most impactful parts of your journey didn't happen until the consistency kicked in, about 30 to 60 days. Can anyone relate to that? Maybe you lost weight in your first 3 weeks, but maybe you didn't have victories or sleeping better or off medications or proving to yourself that you can stay consistent. Did anyone relate to what I'm talking about this morning? I know that my biggest thing when I got started was I actually can do this. Like, my body's changing. I'm not wanting bad food anymore. And then a whole thing of community opened up to me as I got started. My biggest victories didn't happen until about 30 to 60 days in. And that's why we're going to aim on that this morning. So, Dawn, I'm going to ask a few more questions here, but anything you want to add as I'm getting started here today? Because we're just having a conversation with about 300 people apparently this morning. Love seeing everyone on. Anything you want to add today?
I know. I'm loving watching the numbers climb. Well, we hit 300. We're going to go over. Anyways, I want to say welcome. And like Brad was saying, when he first started, didn't know what this would actually bring into their lives. And Brad, you watched your family for 7 years. I watched my friend for about 7 minutes and was like, I'm in. I want what you have. Help me. I'm going to do that. And then the second my dad wanted to get started, I was like all in and wanted to help him. And that's how the coaching journey started. But I had no idea, because my goal in the beginning was to have one person. And so if you're on today and you have that first person that you're helping, that's amazing. And you just never know where that is going to ripple into. So that's all I wanted to add. Is I loved seeing in the chat, I think it was Joanna or someone was sharing that they're dreaming. And that's what we're going to just invite you to do with us today, is dream a little. And dream a little bigger than you're even dreaming right now. You're going to help the people on your heart right now. And then guess what? It's going to ripple into their worlds and their lives, their communities, their families too.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you, Dawn. And who would have ever thought from that you started your health journey that you would have left the career in the health field and helped so many people transform their lives? It's kind of weird thinking back to that starting when you got started. Because I think, anyways, we'll get back to your story later. There's a few more questions I want to ask the chat today. Is just because it's always good to remember this, and Susan's going to share a little about this later, but what's the greatest thing? Put in the chat here. What's the greatest thing you have gained since taking on your health? I know it's kind of hard. You can list more than one if you need to. Self-confidence, freedom, off thyroid meds. Congrats, Morgan. Confidence and freedom, accountability and community, purpose, clarity. I love that, Wendy. Healthy mind. So you can see this is also great, because when we want to celebrate this, we want to always tap into this, but also we want to recognize of what we do and who we are for. OPTAVIA is for everyone. And as you start this journey, if you can see all the matches, it's going to accelerate how well you start, but also the amount of lives you change. Oh, it's just still climbing. Fewer migraines, that's a big win. Energy, no meds. Congrats, Chris. Better outlook on my future, 100%. I see a lot of community in here. That was huge for Ashley and I. We did not have quality community around us, and I didn't know what quality community looked like. So to be around people that want to learn and grow and change people, man, it's addictive. So anyways, I could go on all day on this, but this is perfect here, because your story is powerful. All of our stories combined lead us to other stories, and your story is the key to unlocking so many people's breakthroughs. And we're going to get into a little bit of that today here shortly. And then I also, just because there's so much possibilities here, and some of you are probably like, Brad, I've already signed up my first few clients. I'm ready to go. Get on with the training. I want to learn more. But some of you guys are probably like me. They're like, I don't know. I'm going to do it, but I'm kind of nervous. One thing I want to show you guys is how many people are out there that want help. So if you could, in the chat, share with me how many friends you currently have on Facebook or Instagram, depending on what your social media is. You can also put both. You can put, how many people you have friends, how many people you have following you on Instagram. I'm just looking here real quick. Lois, 550. Heather, 1,000. Mallory, 230. Angela, 140. 500, 1,200, 200, 1,350 and growing daily. I love that, Jamie. No idea. Sarah, just go take a look. It says there right under friends. Christy, 1,000 friends. Oh my gosh, you have so much people that you have potential to reach. All the people that are in the 400, 500 range, there are so many people that you can connect with that will start on this journey. But again, there's so many people in there that you can help. And that's kind of what we're talking about, 500 on Instagram. All right. 605. Man, you guys are quick at getting this. Okay, awesome. what I want to share with you today is part of what we share is how to share your story today and how to connect authentically with people. Some of you guys are probably like me, like I couldn't sell water in the desert. I actually worked for a construction company and they wanted to promote me to get sales, and I was deathly afraid of it. Like so bad that when customers came in, I couldn't help them spend the budget that they already had. It was already their money. I had a hard time helping them spend it. So we are going to show you today that we don't do any of that stuff. We're going to connect authentically. We're going to show you how to share your story. And if you do these steps and do them consistently, you guys have no idea what's possible over the next 30 to 60 days. I didn't have much, like when we got started, it was kind of the wild, wild west. They didn't really have much guidelines. We have a much better system figured out right now. But what they said is eat the food and talk to the people, which basically means be authentic, be on your health, be pursuing your health, be growing yourself. You can't hide your light if you're pursuing your best self. And talk to the people. Make sure that people know that this is an option. About 1 in 5 will be ready for you to sign up right now. So when I'm looking at these numbers, it's like, man, if they just knew what was possible, if they just knew you were breaking through, if they just knew there was a real thing out there that was creating transformation for you, not a gimmick, not a well-placed ad, not Photoshop, none of that stuff. And they can tell by the energy of what's happening. Even if you haven't like seen visible weight loss yet, but they can tell something's changing from all the things that people put in the chat. If they knew, they would chase you down like Dawn. Like people don't know Dawn's stories that if you're brand new, but she literally took her coach's like meals out of her hand. Dawn, was it pretzel sticks or what was it? You actually were like, hey, you're losing weight. Give me that. And you took it out of her hand.
Yeah, it was the cinnamon pretzel sticks and she was eating them. And I'm like, girl, you look amazing. Are those your skinny jeans you're in? And I literally reached over the counter into her bag. And y'all know if you're on fat burn and someone takes half your, like a handful of your pretzel sticks, you probably want to stab them. Yeah. Brad, this is going to be so great today, Brad. I can't wait.
Perfect. So let's dive in today. So last question for the chat here. And this is where I'm going to ask you guys to be a little bit more vulnerable and, for everyone here, especially the new coaches. And you might not even know, I had no idea what I was getting into when I started coaching. But if you were really like asking yourself, like really tap into it. And if you're comfortable sharing, great. If not, it's all good. Just put in the chat what you're comfortable with. But if you're really honest with yourself, why did you start coaching? What are you dreaming about accomplishing? In 4 to 6 months from now, where would you like to be? And where did you start? If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you accomplish? Where would you want to be at from now? Let's see here. Debt-free. Yes, CC. Leave teaching. Lynn, yes, absolutely. Retire early. Down to working one job. Oh my gosh. That was our story. I never saw Ashley when we started coaching because like we had 3 jobs just to make the ends meet. Would love to help others. Maybe be part-time in your career. Absolutely. Freedom to visit family in different states. Yes. Awesome. You guys, that's another gift we give people, the ability to open up the chasm to start dreaming. I'm loving this. We could go on all days, but I want to make sure we actually get to the tangible today. Sorry for the elongated intro, you guys, but hopefully you guys take the time to steep in what we're talking about here because real transformation is possible. And what we're talking about, if about half of people go senior coaches that get started. I'm very happy about that number in our organization, but 100% of people move forward if you do the steps that we covered today. So I don't want to miss these important steps in the beginning as we dive in. Let's see here. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's dive into today. So Dawn, we're going to show people what does it look like to get started well. And again, this training is for all new coaches and newer coaches and everyone. I am recommitting to what we're going to be talking about daily because it's always the basics and anyone, anywhere can do this. Doesn't matter what your background, wherever you're, if you have a heart to help people, this is for you. So talk a little bit about like, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to do some kind of hands-on stuff with us as I mute a few more people, like just starting the heartbeat of what we're doing here.
I love it. And I love that this is how real we are, guys. It's community and you'll get the hang of it, the unmute button and the drawing on the screen and all that. But Brad, I just want a couple of things. I do not want you to apologize for that elongated intro because it was brilliant. And I want to call a couple of things out. Brad expertly guided us through what we have in our hands. You guys all shared what the main thing was that you are loving about this. And I saw that chat blow up. This is what we have in our hands, you guys. We can help people. It's just to show us all the people around us that are ready and wanting to help. That Samsung Galaxy.
I'm trying. They keep coming back on.
It's the phone. Anyways, it's showing us what we have in our hands. And you guys, we are like lighthouses. People come to us. Like Brad said, being scared, he couldn't even help people like spend their budget. They were coming to him, here, help me. There are people that are going to come to you, just like those of us who have been doing this a little longer. We've simply talked to more people and we've had a little bit more time to live our journeys out loud. And we're going to help you do that today. But literally, we shine our lights. You're going to share your story. You're going to be authentic. You're going to be you. And it's really a doorway to other people. There are so many people out there wanting what you have in your hands, and you know that. And you will find that out. And so literally this picture, I mean, the people that you help, that is the lifeblood of our mission. That is what we're here for. We're here to leave the world a better place. The joys and the things that you're celebrating are going to ripple into your community and your family, just like they have for so many of us. And when you take care of the people around you and you help them gain those victories, literally that is a doorway to thousands of lives being changed. So Brad, let's take it to the next slide because I'm really excited. And so here's the thing, guys, if you have 500 friends on Facebook, I am not a math genius, but I get this part. I heard Brad say 1 in 5 people is ready right now to get started. And that is true. I've been doing this for 10 years and I can tell you 1 in 5 people is ready right now. In fact, it's probably even more than that, but a few of them have to kind of marinate on it and push past some fears and some self-doubt. But so if you have 500 friends on Facebook, you divide that by 5, because we'll just assume if you're a brand new coach, you probably aren't friends with a ton of other coaches. Just wait, because you will be, because we're like a family. So you'll have lots more friends. But that's 100 people right now that are ready, that are in your world, that want this. So I want you guys to grab your phones because we're going to do something. And I want to say, we've never done this before. So congratulations. You're diving into something fun and new with us. But Brad and I were talking and we actually did a little experiment. So I did this post about an hour ago on the left-hand side, celebrating. Guys, this is what we do. And it can seem a little weird to celebrate yourself, right? Can I just say the world needs more of that? The world needs more of you celebrating yourself. You know what? It needs more of us celebrating others. That is a huge thing of what we do. So I'm going to ask you guys to do something for me. I'm going to have my dear friend Kelly put in the chat some examples, but I want you to grab your phones right now. I know on some of these trainings, we're like, put your phones down and really be present. Grab your phone right now. We're going to do this. Kelly's going to put in the chat some examples, but you guys, I posted this just a few minutes ago, and there's almost 40 likes and 4 comments already. And it was posted exactly 1 hour ago. And that's just to show you the power. I've been doing this for 10 years, guys. I've been living my journey out loud. My very first post was literally a little giddy shout out. They didn't even have the cool colored background back then, but I was like, yay, I just fit into my skinny jeans, happy dance. That was it. And I had like 80 comments on it and a bunch of people reached out to me. So I want you to grab your phone right now. I want you to check the chat and I want you to pick one of those things, copy it and paste it onto your timeline. Make sure it's public so that people can actually see it. A lighthouse wouldn't be a lighthouse if it had a filter on and only wanted to show up to certain boats. Okay? Right? That's not a lighthouse's purpose. So shine your light and make sure everybody who wants this can see what you have. Pick one of those things. And this, I just love this because Brad just asked you, what was the one thing that you're so excited about? What are you celebrating right now? It could be a scale victory. It could be a non-scale victory. You guys, I just wrote some things down that you just put in the chat. You feel good. You found direction. You have joy. You got your self-confidence back, freedom, accountability. You have more energy than you've ever had before. No more medications. No more pain. Someone put in there, I'm going to bring my husband home. I'm going to retire my husband. Whatever it is, you guys, scale victories, non-scale victories, but pick yours because that's what's so important is that what you put out in the world and your journey and your story, and Susan's going to walk you through how to share your story, it's yours. So I'm going to say own that right now and put this post up. I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you've done this. Right now, put this post up. I want you to hit post. Put a 1 in the chat if you're doing this. Because you guys, we're going to come back at the end of this training and we're going to have you go back to this post just like I did. And we're going to see how many likes you have, how many comments you have, and we're going to show you what to do with that. Sound good, Brad? Anything you want to add?
We've never done this before. We're just having some fun this morning. This could blow up in our face, but you know what? That's actually a good reason to do this because, you know, there's no wrong way to share. You know, you can't share like you can't share the wrong thing with the right person. You can't share the right thing with the wrong person. The biggest thing is shining that light constantly and authentically. So that's the only thing I want to add there. So it'll be fun to kind of see, have it ready. We'll probably just ask for someone who got a bunch of comments, and we'll be like, hey, this is what I would do with this to just continue to cultivate authentic connections.
Yep. And Brad, I just want to add one more thing. What I love is that it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to take you an hour to think out the perfect words. It just has to be real and out there. The chat is blowing up. Congratulations, you guys. Seriously. Tons of you guys did this. And what I love is bunches and bunches of you guys who've been coaches for a long, long time are doing this too, because it's really great. Like I posted this. I don't know that I've shared this specific thing in a long time. There's a lot of people that don't realize I lost 45 pounds over 9 years ago and it's still gone. That's huge. All right, Brad, I'm going to kick it back over to you. I know lots of people are still posting this.
I'm trying to, there we go. I got mine.
You got yours up?
You know, it's such a good reminder. That's another benefit of becoming a health coach. Like I sometimes forget that I lost 30 pounds. I sometimes forget like where I started. That's another thing this is going to help you elevate your health journey, because we're going to constantly remind you to tap into what you've got here. So anyways, this is the stuff that's in the starting point. And I know I'm just going to go over this. I know some of you guys are still finishing your post, but we just want to, like, a lot of you guys are probably getting started. You're like, okay, what do I do? Like, what are the things that I should be doing? So we want to just have this slide for you to be like, okay, where do I start? Like, where do I get going with coaching? Because what we're going to show you today is the key. And if you can commit to the things that we show you today over the next 30 to 60 days, you will see massive transformation in your own health, in other people's health, in starting coaching and successfully. You will be, I know if you guys do this, 100% of you will be successful in moving forward in your coaching. So, but if you haven't done these things yet, this is what I would encourage you to make sure that you're like, okay, I've done all these things. One, a meet and greet with your coaches. I know you probably know your coaches, but we actually want to welcome you to coaching, kind of start off with some of the basics, where to hit the ground running. A lot of you guys have already done that. Support messages set up. This is where you, like, hopefully with your support team, with 2 levels of support, you have a group message that you can go to, ask questions. These are where you'll set up your first few calls, ask your questions along the way, share ideas, and just kind of have a super highway to all the information you need. We want to make sure, just like your health journey, that you have all the support you need. A welcome email and your coach kit. Save that welcome email. If you got your coach kit, great. One thing, the heads up in there is no clients in that kit. So go ahead and put it to the side. There is health assessments. There is a binder. You will utilize that as you move to senior coach. But grab that. That's going to be something you utilize along the way. The main thing to focus on here, if your guys okay, Brad, what makes a successful launch to a coach? It's jumping on immediately with your first health assessments, with your first friend starting their journey. And actually, I want to ask the chat real quick. Put a 5 in the chat, because that's how many people we're focusing on at first. If you have started your first friend, loved one, family, acquaintance on their road to health since getting started with coaching, congrats, you guys. Congrats. Hold on, I got to mute someone real quick. Because you will always remember your first client. I remember mine. A little bit challenging the first. He wanted to keep eating beef jerky and didn't understand why, but he did transform his health. And I remember once he lost 10 pounds that I felt invincible, and I knew I wanted to do this. Like, even though I was just the supporting role of Ashley, I knew I wanted to help him and help more people do the same, because I felt like I had a secret power. But that's the first, I'm going to just kind of sit on that one being the main one there is, if you can, like, the main focus is on your first health assessments, connecting with people. People are going to want to know. They're going to ask you how. You're going to be tempted to give away all the how, give the website. But what we're going to encourage you is set up a conversation time to talk, just like your health coach did probably for you, is because you can't answer everything they need in a message. And that's what makes the difference in coaching. Invite them to a time to find out a little bit more. Health assessment is just a conversation. And I'm going to really encourage you to do your first 3 to 5 with your health coach, because they're going to show you like how simple it is to have that conversation, how we set people up for success. Plus, as you're starting your first few clients, they're going to help you kind of co-coach those people with you. But also, that's going to give extra confidence to your first people you love most that are getting started. Like, now it's not just you and your health journey. It's you and your coach and all the people they've helped. Now they are more confident. And April put a post up in the coach support page the other day, which was really cool. Is outlook for a new client starting their health journey is everything. You can either have all the confidence behind you because you've seen it work, or maybe you're still skeptical or you've already decided it hasn't worked. These are new client thoughts. So just that is such a huge way in starting coaching. Don, anything you want to add to that real quick?
No, just that it's so simple, Brad. I love it. It's literally just step by step, and your mentors are going to walk you through it. You don't have to do anything alone. This is just, remember like your health journey when you were getting into fat burn and your coach was there and they're helping you and walking you through it. Same thing with coaching. We're right here to walk you through it. And new coach fat burn is your first 5 clients.
Exactly. So the first health assessment's the biggest place to focus on. It talks about this in the starting point if you want to watch that. And I highly recommend it. Launching your first post, and I say post on social media because only a fraction of people see that, and it's what you do consistently and often is what people follow. So planning those next few posts, and we're going to give you some ideas of those today with some examples. And then the first goal that we set for you, because we only set one goal, it's kind of set for you. And again, you might be just like Dawn, where you started coaching to help one person here. But your first goal, I'm going to really encourage you to focus on that first 5 clients in your first 30 days. You get a $100 cab bonus for doing that because OPTAVIA rewards us for helping our first 5 because they know you're going to coach better if you help your first 5 clients. And then we're going to have a party. We're going to have a senior coach celebration because it's the first step in coaching. You're going to feel confident. Your fat burns, it's basically fat burn for coaching, we call it, because everyone knows fat burn here. And we're going to help you with the next steps and keeping it simple. The next milestone is executive director, but we'll get to more of that later. I just want you guys to kind of get familiar with the layout here. But what's cool is your first 5 clients is going to be your first bonus. It's going to be your CAB bonus, and it's going to be a 5% bonus because the more people you help, the more people they pay you just for supporting clients. And then obviously growing more as you help duplicate and bring people on. Just for helping your first 5 clients in your first month, be $450 compensation you see here in the right-hand corner. And I don't know about you, but when I found out that I got paid for changing lives as I was changing my life, that $450 saved our household, to be honest. Like that was back when the market crashed, construction was tight. That was a game changer for our life. And it was on the top of something that we needed in our life, which was hope, community, and purpose of changing other lives. So I just want to show you guys, that's the first step to go on. I'm not going to spend much time on it. The next step is I know you guys are on here to learn like, okay, Brad, I'm in. I don't know if I can do this. Maybe some of you guys are like, guys, I'm already past that. But what was a really solid start? Like you guys didn't get on at 7 a.m. to be bare minimum. I want to encourage you guys. This is a start that's really well above and beyond just the first basic step. Keep staying focused on your personal health. These are just the things to remind you besides the basics. Your business coach is your most valuable resource. Have a heart to help people and plant lots of seeds. Follow the system, you guys. Like you can be you inside the system. We want you to be you. No one else can be you, but we have a system that if you follow what we share with you, you will be successful at this and you will change lots of lives. And then commit to sharing something out loud each day about your health. That's what this is all about. If you can share your story along the way. And then just if you want to put these metrics in there, just like to know, 7 to 8 clients in your first 30 days. You guys aren't bare minimum thinkers. I know you guys can do this. It's March. People are looking for health. You can do this. Set your goals high. Your first 1 to 2 people that you want to choose to coach with in your community. We don't get discounts for coaching. We choose our partner. We choose this community. So I want you guys to be thinking about who do you want, who would be blessed by this as you start this journey, and just kind of think about that along the way. Get your 100% or get your $100 CAB bonus. And I'm going to encourage all of you guys that want to start well, get certified before the end of this month. Usually we bring it up in the month 2 or month 3, but I know you guys are going all in. Earn that extra 3% in compensation and get that certification. Your coach will help you with that test. That's everything. So you can take a picture of the slide and come back to it later. Well, I got to mute someone real quick. And that's a rocket start here. If you do this, not only does it double your compensation your first month, but it puts you on a bigger trajectory because each client that you bring on is one more validation to other people that are watching, one more doorway to someone that can change their health, and one more practice of you getting really good at changing lives. So that's basically the starting point. Hopefully that gives you guys like, okay, now I know I've got all those things done. I know where I'm starting. I've already shared my first post, so maybe this is multiple posts. Well, I got to mute someone else real quick. Dawn, as we kind of get to the next few steps here, because we're talking about sharing your story authentically, and what does it look like to have a list or an intention? Like just really quick on this. Like, okay, what would you say as a new coach you would want to do as far as like, okay, where should I start with people?
Right, Brad. Well, one thing is nothing happens by accident. So intentionality and having a list and having the people on your heart is so important. So you guys, doesn't really matter what you write it down on. Grab a piece of paper, a whiteboard, whatever, but have a list and be really intentional about it. It's amazing what that can create. You know, one person, like we said in the beginning, can be a doorway to hundreds of lives, a whole community being changed, their whole entire family tree being changed. So I would love you to please, will you put a 2 in the chat if you've got your list already started, whether it's written on a whiteboard or a piece of paper or back of a napkin. But it is really, really good to have a list on a piece of paper and always be adding to it, because there's always people that are out there that are looking for you. So as you have people like commenting and posting on that post that you just put up, guess what? Are those people all on your list? All of them? And the other thing is not to set preconceived intentions or thoughts around that. Like in the very beginning, I thought, oh, well, I've lost weight, right? Because I was just in my first few weeks. I can help people who need to do that. Oftentimes we see kind of through the filter of our own story, but realizing that we're for everyone. And that's what we showed you in the very beginning, where Brad asked, what were your victories? And very few of those victories were actually weight loss, because see, they've been on their journey for 30 to 60 days or longer than that. And so massive intention, having a list and being consistent for 30 to 60 days is incredible. And what will happen when you do that is exactly what Brad said. You will be successful. Brad, anything you want to add?
No, I want to keep it simple, because all the fun we had in the morning is kind of having the call go long. But I'll just give you like a quick breakdown. I told you what we were told in the beginning, and Ashley and I took that to heart. And honestly, you have to remember that I was thinking, I don't know who to help. My whole family had gotten healthy. There was no one left in my family. And we were young. Like, you know, guys, we're talking like top ramen people eating like budgets type stuff. We were 21, 23. I remember telling Dr. A that, but what we did is we made a list of people that wanted more in their life, that could use health, and just everyone we knew, and no preconceived notion. And the only thing we did was we started our health journey. We started living out loud. And at the end of 30 days, our goal was to make sure that everyone, however authentically that connection could be, knew that health was a possibility. It was our bad if they didn't know health was a possibility. Some people reached out to us by watching us. Some people like reached out just from us starting the conversation and being intentional. And some people saw other people, and some people we could go to them and just talk to them. But at the end of 30 days, the reason why we were an executive director with no weight loss. I mean, yes, I lost 30 pounds, but you couldn't tell when I got started. Like, you know, for guys, the shirt's just a little bit more baggy. You can't really tell. So, and Ashley lost all of 9 pounds. She has a massive health journey later on, you know, through pregnancy. And we are so grateful for this, you know, as you enter motherhood. But anyways, the point is that I'm trying to get at is our only goal was that were we in a relationship and contact with every one of those 30 days. And at the end of that, the reason why we were an executive director without any weight loss in just over 60 days is because we did this thing. We just opened up conversations. We opened up the dialogue as we lived our health out loud. So I just want to say, like, a whiteboard, list, whichever, this is a key component in this. But we're going to show you the most important part of this. If you have this piece down, you combine it with what Susan's about to share with you. This is the game changer. Don, anything you want to add before we turn it over to Susan on sharing our story?
Nope. Take it away, Susan.
Show us how to do it, Susan.
What's up, people? Welcome. First of all, how exciting and how fun. And how many of you just got bold and pressed send on something that this is the power of community, right? You saw everyone else doing it and you're like, I don't want to miss out. Like, I'm in, I'm going to do it. And that's why we show up to like have our cups filled. So we have, you know, really the courage, right, to share our story. And I want to talk on the power of sharing our story. In fact, Brad, you can just take it off screen share so I can see some eyeballs, because I like eyeballs. I like people. Yay. Okay, guys.
And if you can't see it, if you can't see it yet, click speaker view. I want you guys to see Susan like clear as day. She's going to share some knowledge with you today.
Well, I just feel this is what we do. People ask all the time, like, what is it? You know, OPTAVIA. It's like we just share our stories authentically, and collectively we inspire hope in people to take action in their lives, not just in their health, but in their lives, to live like the best version of themselves. And so I would love for you in the chat to share what's the piece of someone's story you heard, okay, that encouraged you to take action. And so to give you mine, I actually saw all this on Facebook nine and a half years ago. And was not my coach's story, actually. She shared a story of a woman holding a baby, and then like a picture of the woman holding the baby. And the woman looked drastically different. And the baby looked like a month older. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, because that was where I was at in my life. So she couldn't share that piece of her story because that wasn't where she was at, but that was where I was at. I needed to see that story to say, that's what I want. And that encouraged me to take action. And so I encourage you guys, you don't know what piece of your story is going to impact people. And so you're just going to share it often. I love this celebration Saturday. What if every Saturday you just celebrated something really transformative in your life, in your health, because you don't know the pain points of other people and where they need, like, what is going to really, really speak to them. So your story, if you walk away with nothing today, encouraging you, and you may be comparing your story to somebody else's, but your story does have the power to empower someone else. Okay. All the pieces. I don't know which piece yet, but all your pieces are going to empower different people depending on where they're at in their life. So don't compare. Maybe it's weight loss. Maybe it's mood. Maybe it's relationship. Maybe it's energy, focus, maybe it's confidence, community. And then those of you that don't have a weight loss story, you heard Brad share, that wasn't where they came from. Some of our most successful coaches did not have a weight loss story because, again, they got really connected to those questions Brad asked in the beginning. If you haven't thought those out, journal it out. Why did you decide to pay this forward? What is changing in your life because OPTAVIA has entered your life? That's your story. How awesome is that? We all have one. And so our coaches that have not lost weight have embraced that as why they became a health coach. They have a heart to serve people. Maybe they had someone in their life they saw be affected by unhealthy habit choices. And so they want to break the chains of that in their family or in their community. That's your story. And I want you to own it and I want you to share it. And the more you share it, because people don't see everything you post, the more you share it, you are going to touch someone's life. So that's what I hope to convey to you today. And then encourage you guys to be prepared for this. So as a new coach, I remember I referred a lot of people to my health coach. I was a little late to the game. I love that it took Dawn 7 minutes. It took me like 9 months to even say yes to coaching after I'd lost my weight. Like I had the idea that I didn't have any time for this. My kids were super young. I worked out of the home. My husband worked full time. I was like, I couldn't even fit it in. So I referred a ton of people. And so I had to, here's the thing, none of them called her hardly because they didn't know her. So they really wanted to work with me, but that's a whole nother part of my story. Really when, what I had to do is learn how, because people were asking, you look great. What are you doing? And I want you guys to lean into that question because you want people to ask you, what are you doing? How did you do it? Or as they see your post this Saturday morning about something changing or what you're excited about, and you see you at the market later tonight and they go, hey, I saw your post this morning. What is it that you're doing right now, right? How many of you get scared? And it's okay to admit that. You don't have to even admit it in the chat. You can just blink your eyes, right? Like they're going to ask me and I'm not prepared. So I want you to practice it in a way that feels organic and authentic, but not super rehearsed because we don't want to, that's not who we are. But so for example, I'm going to share with you what I would say. And I had to shift from saying, oh yeah, no, I'm down 35 pounds, but here's my coach's number. That's what I would say. And I had to shift to, oh my gosh, I kept it to like 2 bullet points. So I'd encourage you to keep your story when you share out about to like 10 to 15 seconds, because what they're asking you when they ask you, what are you doing? How'd you do it? They're really asking you, will this work for me? That's what they're asking you subliminally. They're like, would this work for me? That's really what they're asking. So when you know that, you can shift the way you share your story. So I just shared, oh my gosh, it's so super simple as a busy mom. And my energy is like through the roof. 2 bullet points, 2 seconds. Okay. And then I'm like, and I am down 35 pounds. And actually I love this program so much that I'm partnering with my coach to help other people, just through the program. So if you know anyone I can help, I'd love to be connected to them. You see how I give an actionable way for them to like understand that now I'm there as someone that can walk alongside them if they so choose. And more often than not, people would say, well, I have, I made it about like, do you know anybody else? And they were like, well, I actually have like 30 pounds to lose too. Great. Like, let's connect and bringing all that interest to the phone, to those health assessments with my support team. So guys, that's what it looks like. Social media, it's just sharing your story daily. 9 years later, I'm still sharing my story and the transformation of our marriage. of my parenting, of my healthy mind, of my healthy body. And so it's just, you continue at it. That's what a story is. It's not a monologue, it's a dialogue. It's dialoguing with your community and all those people you're loving on. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you feel empowered to just share your why, share what's changing, and continue to share. So Pat, I'll pass it back to you.
All right, Susan, so amazing. And there's so many things I'm going to resist the urge to just say amen to like everything you said here. But there's one thing I want to encourage, as I'm seeing in the chat here, what you're doing is when people ask, the next step, you guys, is especially for you new coaches, because I remember I would blurt out everything when I got started. I remember, like, I have my classic example of where I said something and Ashley was like, you didn't make any sense. If they're asking you, move it to a conversation. That's your first health assessments. It's just a conversation. Invite your support team. Help them set up. So get really good at practicing what Susan just shared there. Share your story. Move it to a time to have a conversation about their health. That's the greatest gift you can give the people that are asking you, is a time to focus on what they want. And you can say, I can help you when you're ready. Most people will be ready right then and there. So good. All right. As we wrap up today, we're going to have someone share. I wanted so many people to share on this, but I picked a couple that started coaching a little bit after this time last year and was really good at sharing their story. And again, just like some of you, maybe that you got started to just help one person. Well, that's Julie's story. And that one person was her husband. I mean, cheers to anyone that can coach their spouse. I know that I couldn't. So, anyways, if you start coaching your spouse, you might utilize your support team. But I wanted to bring them on because in the last year, they've impacted a lot of lives. We're really good at sharing their health. At the very end of it, I'm going to show you their Facebook and show you what they did last year. So you can be like, I could do that same thing. And then we'll kind of wrap up here today. And if you want to spend some time on the bonus time, we can actually break down a few posts that Dawn went over today if you want to stay on for the bonus time. So Kenny, Julie, going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Brad. And thank you for believing in us and having us on today. Someone believing in me is what brought me to coaching. I told Carlene no for over a year. So again, like Susan, I was late to the party. And I just kept saying, no, I don't have time. I work 11 hours a day. There's no way to fit this in. And I also said, I'm a shy girl. Nobody will come to me for this. And so it took over a year. And I started considering it because I wanted my husband to get healthy. And still, though, was very reserved about it. It was like, I don't think I'd be good at this. So it took going to a community event, and I went and I heard Jamil speak at this community event, and I just sit there and I was like, I'm really feeling drawn to this. I really need to help my husband. And so after the event, I spoke with Jamil and I was telling him about my fears, and he's like, just do it. What do you have to lose? Just do it. So I left the event and I called Carlene and I said, I'm in. I'm going to give this a shot. But again, shy girl, I was scared to death. Like when I got my coach's kit in, I was scared to death. I was like, how am I going to talk to strangers? I'm not good at this. And with the help of Carlene, she's just like, live it out loud, Julie. Just live it out loud and people are going to come. And they did. I started posting on Facebook just about like non-scale victories. Like, look at my pants, look at my belt loops, look, I can wear my diamond ring after years of not being able to fit it on. Or I actually went with my sister running and I never could have done that before. And so I lived out loud. That's all I did at first. And people just started wanting help. And then, of course, the main reason for wanting to do this was Kenny. And he was like my walking billboard. He shared his way out loud. And people just started coming. So really at first, that's all you need to do. You just need to live your story out loud. So that was why I started coaching, mainly to help him. And it has turned into so much more. I wanted to just pay for my kit, help my husband. And it just went crazy. And it has become so much more than that. And it's helped me become accountable in my own journey and stay accountable. And it has also made me step out of my comfort zone. Again, shy girl would have never been on a Zoom with 300 people before this. It's making me grow daily. So that's kind of how it started for me. And then I started late March coaching, and Carlene was like, you need to come to convention. And I was like, I can't pull it off. Then a week before convention, I was like, I really want to go to the convention, Kenny, but I'm scared to go by myself. Will you go with me? And we booked our plane tickets a week before convention and went. And then I'll let Kenny take over, because that's kind of when the shift changed for him and made him want to become a coach with me.
Yeah, and I can't thank you enough for taking a leap of faith. I know it was out of your comfort zone, but I'm so glad you did. You know, I came on this back in April of last year, so April the 6th was my start date. Scared to death. We'll show that post later on, but I came on scared to death. And having your spouse as your coach, my theory was, you know, if I had and I've been heavy all my life growing up in the grocery business, but my theory was, if I had a week where I didn't lose any weight or I gained weight, what is my wife going to say? So I was bold. I went ahead and you hear your business coach say, share it out loud. Here again, I had no intention of coaching. I own 3 other businesses. So I've got a very full plate, 15-hour days or part-time days for me. But I just put day one post up there. Every week was checking in, and every week her phone was ringing off the hook. I would just simply letting people know, hey, if you're interested in this, don't call me, because my comments were blowing up. I said, call Julie. She went ED in 45 days. And then, of course, when we got to convention time, it was like, you know, I said, well, I need a couple, 2 or 3 days off. I'll just go. This is what did for me, guys. I do a lot of analyzing. I play the stock market quite a bit, do quite a bit of investing. But I saw Dr. Anderson for the first time come on stage that morning at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And we've been there on convention all day long. And then we get to the evening, and it's 11 o'clock at night. We're going back to our hotel rooms, and we're dog dead tired. We've been in these meetings all day long. And we walked by this building. I don't even know what it was about. I saw Dr. Anderson in there with his tie undone. You know, he's got sweat beads. He's talking and drinking water at 11 o'clock at night. He's been there 15 hours all day, just beating the drum, because he has a firm conviction in this program. And I said to myself then, I said, you know what? That man's got this much belief in this program, and I've watched the stock market. I know the company, and I saw the lives that she was changing. I saw how it changed me. And guys, I jumped all in. And I actually went live on a video, and while we were in St. Louis, and talked about coming on. Guys, I went senior coach in 26 hours. It was that quick. So, it just kind of happened. But for me, I kind of came from a background of business. I also used to be in the fire department, so helping people, kind of like Dr. A's story. I was helping them in emergencies, and I got away from that as life got in the way. But now I'm back on the preventative side and helping people change their lives. It's blown us away. We've helped over 140 lives in this year alone. For me, some of the financial wins that we've had this year, here again, I do own other businesses, but we have never been able to fully invest, max out our retirements every year. Last year, guys, we checked that box. We did that. And this year, we're already well on course to have it done before June. And it's just, that financial freedom has been huge for us. But I just can't thank my wife enough for coming on and doing this. But, living that thing out loud on Facebook, that's kind of how I got into coaching. Julie had a list. Here again, when I started, it was just making that announcement on my page in the chat, my messenger blew up. And now I do go back and make lists and of course, go back and check that out. But my fear was, and here again, when I started, I had like 1,600 Facebook friends. But my fear was nobody's going to do this or nobody's going to believe it. And here again, that was only a concept, because we acquired quite a few clients rather quickly. And but anyway, it's been a great story, been inspiring, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And just the amount of lives that we have changed has just absolutely blown us away, and it's humbled us. It's brought me closer to God, and I couldn't be more thankful.
You got it.
Go ahead and bring up that share screen, man. That's great.
You guys, that's so good. I'm gonna share the screen real quick, but that's why you can tell why I was I wish we could just share stories all day long, because your guys' story is powerful. I think people can relate, and just congratulations, all those lives. But as we wrap up today, we're gonna show you a couple examples of what this looks like. So when you ask Kenny, what did you post? Again, find your voice, find this, but share with us a little bit about this real quick, Kenny, and then we'll wrap up this call here today. And Don's got one example, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, I won't take too long, but this guy right here, this was me a year ago. So this was April the 6th, as you can see. So that was day one for me, just got my kid in. And here again, I didn't know a thing about, I had no intention of ever coaching. So I I boldly went loud with it. And I just shared my story out loud, talked about how scared I was. That guy right there was scared to death, y'all. I'm telling you, scared to death when I started. My goal was to lose 40 pounds in 5 months. I lost 50 pounds in 3.5 months. I lost 65 pounds in a little over 5 months. But, you know, and then we went back and looked, and Brad brought this up to me, my attention last night. He said, go back and look at those comments and just see how many people in there that you know that have actually came on. So there's actually 5 clients in there that we actually signed up. One of them is a client under another coach, actually with Carlene, but she is now an executive director and has several coaches under her. And then I actually got another comment on there, Linda Gatewood. She is one of my new coaches. Congratulations, Linda, because she is on here today as well in this training. And so, you know, that right there just kind of blew my mind. I did not realize, here again, I was just sharing my story and living it out loud. For me, that was therapy every week, going live and talking about my journey, even though I kind of just, some days I rambled, but I did it. And, you know, and that's how the funnel filled up so quick that it almost got overwhelming. And I almost slowed down in August. And Carlene said, put your foot on the gas and don't look back. And that's what we've done.
Yeah, I love that. You can see the other stories here. Like you just shared, like, there's your lean and green, and then this just your normal post. Man, it doesn't even look like you. That's crazy. And you're just sharing about your story. Some funny posts, like you're sharing your 1 week like this, like you're just sharing your journey out loud. And I love the fact you're looking back. It's like that one little drip led to the life change. So I'm sure a few people can resonate with that. Any last tips you want to give people here today to wrap up today's call?
I would just say, don't be scared and just push through that fear at first. Because, you know, for us introverts, which I hate to even say that word anymore because I'm not that person anymore, it can be so scary. But what is on the other side of this is crazy. It's taught us to dream. Kenny and I, we haven't dreamed since we were kids. And now the things that we're dreaming of, like, it's mind-blowing. It really is. So push through that fear, and you will be so happy you did.
All right, you guys, thank you for sharing today. So one more example here, Dawn. You just want to share another example. So if you're marking down some of these post ideas, go for this. Again, you're just gonna just push post. I think we all learned that this morning. Julie, Kenny, I love it, and then I'm especially fond of the introvert because, you know, introvert, extrovert, it's all lies. We tell ourselves everyone has fears. Everyone has things holding them back. It's the label. Don't give any power to labels. Just do it. Just do it. Other people's breakthrough and your breakthrough is on the side of you pushing through fears. Thank you for sharing that as you wrapped up today, Julie. John, did you want to share one example? So like there's some examples you can grab. As we wrap up here today, you have someone that just launched a few months ago and you can be like, okay, this is what a few posts would look like. Would people enjoy that? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to see a few examples of someone launching here recently. Perfect. Okay, go for it.
Ooh, ones are blown up. All right, I'm going for it. All right, so I'm going to share an example of a dear friend of mine. Rebecca is her name, and she launched back in September. So what I've got up on the screen right now is actually her very first post. Because, right, some people wait till they are further along in their health journey. Some people, like me, start 7 minutes into it. It doesn't matter. There's all kinds of victories and things to share along the way, but wanted to share some examples so that you can be thinking of what you want to share and what your victories are and what your next posts are going to be. So I would encourage you today to come away with jotting down on a piece of paper, what are the next posts you want to share? So you shared a little victory about yourself this morning. Here's Rebecca's first post. Loved that she used it as an example to share not only what she was celebrating scale-wise, but also non-scale-wise. She's really sharing hope because that's what we do. Her journey was that she was menopausal and she'd had an injury and literally tried everything. And her doctor said, and she's a nurse that used to work with me up at the hospital here. And her doctor said, sorry, this is probably just your new set point weight. And she didn't settle for that. She wanted to run races and she's turning 50. So that's when she reached out to me. And this post is just so authentic and from her heart. So literally 10 weeks, she lost 23 pounds and 23 inches. She's running, she's pain-free. So anyways, this is just an example of how to launch a post. A side-by-side picture is great, no matter where you're at in your journey. The cool thing is next week or next month, you can always do an update, right? With big old capital letters, health update, and then give them what your victory is that week. Here's another, look at that. She changed it to her profile picture. You're just getting started. and you have a journey where you've got your side-by-side, your progress picture, guys, we don't call them before and afters because we're never done. We are always taking our health to the next level. And there's so many of us that have been coaches for years that are taking our health to the next level and making new progress pictures all the time and reintroducing our story. Oh, look at that. Progress, not perfection. You guys can find all kinds of things that resonate with you. Look at this. She shared my story. So you guys, launching as a coach isn't just one post. It's not just one and done and boom, everybody falls in your lap. It's a progress and it's a series of posts. So you might share a victory about yourself, and then you might share a victory about someone else. Maybe that person's going to be your coach. So I loved that she shared my story, and I walked her through launching with several posts. And this was the suggestion for her second post, was to share my story. So look at that. She got some likes, she got some comments. And then as I was jumping on those health assessments with her, it was really cool because people were like, oh my gosh, I just saw your story on Rebecca's timeline. So I want you guys to show this. So Rebecca is going to hit executive director this month. So that means she's helping a lot of people. There were not a ton of comments and not a ton of likes, but I want you to know people are noticing, and a couple of these people have gotten started on program. So even though they didn't comment, they might have just liked it. Okay, but she followed up with them. Here's some life stuff, getting out, walking, doing stuff, living in her world. Basically, guys, I just kind of wanted to show you that you can pick any number of things, but celebrate your health, celebrate it often and update, whether it's a non-scale or a scale victory or mindset like Susan was sharing. Celebrate your coach, share their story, celebrate other people's stories and do it often, and then share other things like recipes, positive quotes, just things that resonate with you. If you see something, grab it. All right, Brad, I'm going to kick it back to you.
All righty. And we're just going to wrap up here today, you guys. I just want to say congrats, welcome. I'm excited for this process, excited for you guys to kick through fear, like Julie said. Hopefully today has been helpful for you. And just going to wrap up with this last thought here real quick. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you guys got some ideas. I just share boldly. People are looking for you guys. And I hope you guys are dreaming big. And actually, as I'm pulling up my screen, just to show you like how successful we are at what we're doing when people do step, can you drop me, again, we've shown you about the transformation. Drop me a 1 in the chat if you are an executive director and higher and your income is above $2,000 a month, just so you guys can get an idea of like the success that we have for all these new coaches. Because for me, I just knew my family when I got started. When I found out there were so many other people, that's what really helped me. You guys obviously can see how this works. So here's my last encouragement for you all as we wrap up today. I apologize, we went a little bit long, but it's kind of hard to contain the stories and the passion. We want to feed you guys as you're getting started on this next step of your journey. And the extra time for unmuting people. I got to mute someone real quick. The power of your story. If you, oh my gosh, look at, I just saw the chat. And how many people here. It's amazing. I hope you new coaches see this. This can be you. And that's just a starting point. We're well above that. And again, also another note on when you're sharing your story, feel free to share financial when your heart's there, you can share with people what's possible. You know how many people are just like, they make it look good on social media, but they're making it work and they're hoping that there's a way to make it happen each time. And then there's getting past it into abundance like Kenny and Julie. Congratulations on maxing out your retirement plan each year. Like we should be taking care of ourselves better so we can pour out to people. That's another topic for another day that I'm passionate about. But anyways, the power of your story and sharing it boldly over the next 30 to 60 days. People are watching. People may not even comment, just so you know. You'll have your first looky-loos. You're like, man, you never even commented. You didn't even like it, weirdo. But then you'll be happy that they got started too. Then you won't call them a weirdo. But if you can just focus on your first steps and being consistent over these next 30 to 60 days, this is what your journey will look like. This journey will look like. These dots are people saying yes to their health journey. And maybe these people right here make these people say, yes, oh my gosh, maybe that's the connection. Maybe that's the connection between that person and that person. Yes, maybe this person right here is that person that never commented 3 months ago but saw your first post and was wondering. Maybe this person right here is because you shared a post about Susan and losing the maternity weight, whatever the case may be. But if you are consistent for the next 30 to 60 days, fast or slow, you're welcome in this community. And we want to celebrate that, but we want to paint a picture that more is possible. If you can commit to this, I want you guys to know this is the greatest personal development process you'll ever be on. The income potential possibilities are amazing. This community will lift you up, and there's nothing more amazing than changing people's lives. It's not going to be perfect along the way. You're going to have some people give up on themselves, and that's okay. Your consistency will have them come back. Do you know I had a client one time that gave up on me, stopped taking my phone calls, came back a year later, lost 130 pounds. Greatest victory I ever had. Well, one of the greatest victories is that consistency. So that's where I want to leave you guys today. You guys know the things to focus on, your first steps. Stay close with your coach. Share boldly. And focus on that first one of your first 5 clients. And then once you got that, plug in. At the end of this month, we're going to start a training series to help senior coaches and above continue to thrive and move forward. It's awesome. If you've been a part of one before, drop me a 2 in the chat that you love it and you're there every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Lucky if you're ahead in the time zones. It's not so early for you guys. But anyways, we just want to welcome you to the community. Love you guys. So excited for you. There's so much possible ahead. Don, anything you want to add as we wrap up today? And then we'll end the call. And then if anyone wants to stay on, you can help us break down some of those posts that people did here today.
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. I think the only thing I want to add is believe in yourself. And even if you get a little nervous or you're not sure what to do next, you are not alone. Reach out to your mentor, reach out to your business coach, and they will help you with that next step. But right now, I think today, this morning, we've got lots of little next steps that you can take. And then, yeah, Brad, I want to draw people's attention back to that post that they put out there just a few minutes ago, and let's have some fun.
Gotcha. All right, guys, if you have to roll, it's 8:04. Have a great day. We will be posting this all later, so you can watch the recording of it. This will be great. I think we got a lot of good nuggets here today. If you guys got a jet, roll. If not, Don, after party, show us some stuff. Break down some examples. And actually, I think we can just ask people in the chat. You could probably start with your post first. But if you have 4 or more comments on your posts, will you put it in the chat? And then we'll take a look at that. And we'll show you what to do with some of these posts, how to just continue to cultivate relationships. Don, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. I'm going to pull my post up here, guys. And please, Brad, grab the chat for me, so that you can see who has 4 or more comments, or 10 or 15 or more likes. And Angela's got 6. Oh, girl, I think maybe. Debbie Lincoln's got 12. Okay, this is fun.
Morgan's got likes. Brian. Oh yeah, you go for it. No,
this is fun. Okay, no, Brad, you pick someone. So whoever's willing to let me go to your Facebook page right now. So the post has to be public. I'm going to go to your Facebook page right now, and we're going to actually walk through this. So say me in the chat. Kelly's like, Brian, do it. Me, Brian. Brian's.
I can't keep up. There's so many.
I know, right? This is so fun. Guys, again, we haven't done this before, so this is going to be fun. All right, Brian, I am navigating to your Facebook right now.
Brian, I love Brian, man. He's got a cool story.
Brad, can you spell Brian, what's your last name? Brad, spell Brian's. Or Brian, come off mute.
Here, I got it for you. Sepanik.
Got it. But we're going to need Brian off mute.
Oh,
you ready?
I'm off mute now, sorry.
Hey, Brian. First of all, congratulations for posting that and just doing it. I'm going to share my screen and have some fun. Yeah. Brian, how long have you been a coach?
I've just not even 2 weeks yet, so just getting going.
Boom! I love it. And how did it feel to post this?
Uncomfortable. I'm not a person to put myself out there, and so I'm getting used to that. And I know I can't help people by sitting here and wishing it would happen. So I know I need to put myself out there more and let people kind of see what I'm doing. So this is a great encouragement for me.
Amen to that. I love it. And I think you just resonated like hundreds of people like, yeah, that was uncomfortable. Let's just own that it can be uncomfortable to post, especially in the very beginning. It's pushing through that and doing it. So congrats for doing that. And look at this, 21 likes and 4 comments in just 31 minutes. And here's the cool thing is only about 10% of your friends on Facebook actually see each individual post. So how cool is that in just 30 minutes, 21 people took the time to like it. When someone takes the time to slow their scroll and like something, that's huge. When they slow down to comment, oh man, that's like writing a handwritten note to someone in nowadays world. That means that it mattered to them. So Brian, let's check out who these people are, because I am super curious. So the first thing I always do when I put a post up is I check out the comments, right? Like, who's noticing and who's taking the time to comment. So let's look at the comments. Tell me about these people. So Mary, or is that Marv? Yeah,
Marv, that's my great uncle. He's probably 75. Yeah, I see him on occasion, and he could probably use some help on his journey as well.
Ooh, I love that.
Then
I have a question.
My friend Brian here. I'm sorry, I was going to say my friend Brian I had over last weekend, and me and his wife, him and his wife, we got in a conversation about the plan, which I reached out to them, and I'm not sure if they're ready right now, but again, we still have that conversation going, which is great. They express interest in it. So I'm trying not to be too pushy, but just checking in on occasion and seeing how he's doing.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead and walk me through the rest of JJ.
JJ, a friend in the industry. He lives out in California. He's a great friend of mine and my wife's. He comes to town on occasion, and we get together for dinner. So nice guy. He's actually in really great shape. But again, I'm not sure what he's looking for. So
right.
There's still a possibility there.
Oh.
And then Tracy here. Well, Tracy here definitely looks like a great possibility because she's asking right here about the diet. That's an ex-coworker. So, she kind of teed that up perfectly.
Oh, man. Brian, I'm so happy that we decided to pop you on here and go through this. This is so perfect. Okay, so number 1 on your list, are all of these people on your list?
Mm-hmm.
Their names
are all these people on your list? No, only one of them was on my list.
Oh my gosh.
As far as comments, the likes, I haven't. Brad Miller's on my list. I'd like to talk to him about a couple things. Maybe I could help him out.
I
think. But no, a lot of these people and some of these likes are people not even sure who they are. So there's possibly there for adding friends and starting some conversations.
Absolutely. So Brian, I would say grab out that piece of paper and make sure that Marv is on your list, and then Brian and his wife, both of them, they're 2 individual people, add them to your list. JJ, I would definitely put him on your list, and then Tracy, holy smokes, out of the blue, right? So you can go right in. Okay. So guys,
Don, can I add something in here real quick, Don?
Of course.
So again, a lot of new coaches here, and if this is not where you're at, then just throw it out the window, just put mute. But some people might be like, "Oh, I got to get these people." We don't get people. The win is the dialogue. The win is the window into somebody's life. The win is the connection mentally to how they might be able to reach their next potential. So that's why the list is so important, so we can love on them. The win is opening up the window of dialogue, however that looks. So if you change your orientation to what the win is, and again, some people, I've seen some new coaches that are like, "Oh yeah, well I think they might be interested." Like, dude, they are trying to sign up and you're holding them back. You're stiff arming. We might need to do it quickly, but I just want to the orientation. The win is the connection, the conversation, the dialogue, the touch, the consistency. So I just wanted to add that in there, Don. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Thank you, Brad. As always, adding your brilliance. You guys, I hope everybody stayed on for this after party because this is going to be bomb. So absolutely. The win is the fact that you are now seeing that there are people who weren't even on your original list who this matters to them. People don't slow down in comments unless it matters to them. They cheer you on because it matters to them. So Marv, I love that. He's your uncle and he's 75. Guess what? I would say what I would do is click on that. So obviously I love that. Look at this. Brian, you are teeing it up for me. You guys watch how Brian is doing this. Thanks, Marv. I'm feeling better and looking even better now. So you replied to his comment. You took time to say thank you for your shout out. Thank you for your support. That is so cool. So Brian, I'm sure you're probably going to do this next. You're going to go send Marv a private message and be like, "Hey, Marv, seriously, thank you so much. That meant the world to me. How are you doing?" You're going to start a conversation. You're going to be real. It's going to be just like if you saw him over a holiday holiday, or you ran into someone at the grocery store, you're going to have a real conversation and you're going to open it up. And you're going to thank them for taking the time to comment or to give you a little bit of love, right? So it's going to be in your words. You're going to send Marv a private message, and then you're going to see where that conversation goes. Probably he's going to maybe ask you a question. And then guess what? If he is curious about what you're doing, you're going to hop on the phone with him and you're going to just share a little bit about it. You're going to ask him how he's doing. Because here's a great thing. My grandpa started the program when he was like 85, 80 something, and lost like 28 pounds, you know? So you just never know what someone's looking for. And if being part of a community would be helpful for them or anything. Brad, anything you want to add there? Is I'm literally going to walk Brian through just kind of examples of how you would reach out and start a conversation.
Not really. I mean, if you guys can just think about it, that's why we move it to a conversation. One, I love that it helps us, it drives us into being in more communication with others in this world that where we're not communicating with people enough, like in real time. Like, I just love that side benefit. But also the super highway to this is you're a new coach, take screenshots of this and just be like, hey, what would you say to this? Just get that insight. Like, mentorship from someone that's been down the road, it's always good to get that insight along the way. Not that you have to check or get like the exact verbiage. There's also a document in the health coach page that goes over like some main bullet. We don't have scripts, but there's bullet points you can hit on that help move people and get to their why. But just, I would partner with your coach. The coaches that move the fastest are like, hey, this message right here, what would you say to this one? Kelly, I think, put that in the chat. So helpful. And you learn faster that way. But yeah, Dawn, let's talk about how we would respond to this and just open up the dialogue like to this.
Yeah, exactly. And Brad, thank you so much for just showing, guys, we have a tool for everything. We have a way to help you do almost everything. And so we do have a tool that's how to move it from social media to the phone, because we can't help someone over Messenger. You can't. You can't help someone if you give them your website. A website does not ask someone what their goals are. A website cannot listen to someone's dreams. And a website can sure as heck not create a relationship. And you also can't do that over text. So that's why we take it to the phone and we invite them to just have a conversation. Let them know we'd love to hear about what their goals are. So let's pop down. So Brian's going to go through and he's going to thank these people. So under Brian Dickin, he's going to say, thanks, man. You know, that means it's going to be in his voice, but he's going to say thank you or recognize that each and every one of these people took the time to do a shout out. I always do the comments first, then I go back and take a peek at the likes. I prioritize, because the people who slow their roll to comment, those are the ones who are like, it matters to them right now. So JJ, wow, that's amazing. Here's one thing I just want to add. JJ, I heard Brian say, man, he's really fit. So I mean, I don't know, but there's probably something there. You know what? He probably just loves that you're on your journey and he is stoked watching you. And he may have people in his life asking him questions. JJ, how are you fit? How are you healthy? Maybe he doesn't have a tool to help those people. Maybe he doesn't have an amazing community. Maybe he's pretty fit, but doesn't have his nutrition dialed in. Maybe. You don't know until you start a conversation, right? What if? And then Tracy, oh my gosh, I love that. Are you following a diet? Okay. Y'all know this isn't a diet. So I always chuckle when people say that, like, what diet are you on? But you know what? This is cool. She tried keto, so she's already sharing with you. Brian, in your own words, you're going to reply to her and say something like, wow, Tracy, actually, it's a health program. I'd be happy to send you a little PM, check your messages. Definitely something that I'm loving, or something like that, right? Brad, maybe you have there's actually like a document that has some examples up, but literally it's whatever you would say to someone if they stopped you in the grocery store and asked you this, you'd be like, you know what, actually, it's an amazing community, and it's a wellness plan. I'm loving it. I'll send you a private message, or I'll connect with you and share a little more about it privately. Something like that. Something
authentic and relational to that person. Validating what they ask is so key. But yeah, like, I'm following, like, I actually found something that's working for me. I'm loving it. And then just taking it to a conversation. And then the other thing about saying private message is everyone has FOMO, fear of missing out. You're having a conversation, it makes other people say, well, what is that? It's just, again, it's helping lay more tracks that people can come to you for help. So just keep it natural, keep it authentic. That's the biggest thing that I can encourage you guys. There's no tips or tip or tricks, whatever I'm trying to say. I'm out of words this morning, but there's just moving it to that time of dialogue. That's the thing that's best.
And she said she felt like what the keto thing was dangerous or whatever. Maybe saying safety matters so much to me too, you know, with like a little, like something like that, acknowledging that that's a fear that she has and saying, yeah, I totally understand that. That matters to me too. Like having something that's safe and healthy. And then love that Tom, so I love it, Brian, you're getting comments as we go, but quite an accomplishment. So happy for you. And Dawn, oh, is your wife's name Dawn? Love that. Anyways, so Brian's going to go through and comment and just take the time to reply to these people. And then you're going to move it to a private message. The other thing too, guys, if you put a post up and look how Brian made it public up here, I just want to show you that. That's very important because friends of friends will see it. So as all of these people are posting on it, it bumps it up in the algorithm. It bumps it up. So as people continue to comment on this all day, as Brian goes back and replies, it keeps bumping it up into his newsfeed. And so more people are seeing it. And if it's public, it bounces around in there and people's friends of friends see it. Okay, so you may have people comment, you may have people like that. You don't really know who they are. Guess what? Like Brian already mentioned, he's going to go figure out, am I friends with those people? Friend request them. And then when they accept it, send them a little message. Oh my gosh, so great to be your friend. Hey, thanks for taking the time to like my post this morning. That was pretty uncomfortable. I'm so glad I did it. And it means a lot to have people just recognize that or cheer me on, all of that. So again, Brian, right here, you've got 32 conversations, 6 people commented. You have 6 actual, you know, probably conversations that are going to take off and go somewhere towards health, probably at some point. But again, like Brad said, the win is in starting the conversation. The win is in making the connection. And as you're more consistent over the next few weeks and few months, because guys, we just challenge you to post something every day. Post something, a win, a victory, something that inspires you, something positive every single day for 30 to 60 days, and you will be successful. You'll be so surprised at where this goes. I'll kick it over to you, Brad. Anything else you want to add?
Congrats, Brian. I love it. Love that you shared right there. I think the biggest thing as we wrap up today, because we could go into a bunch of different examples, but I think we've gotten it here. I think people have got their cup filled with some examples. They've got that there. They see it. They see the opening here. So the biggest thing I would encourage you guys is this, is just be you, be natural, connect, share. It's not really about like doing it perfect. One thing when we share these little like these secrets to authentically connect, people try to be too perfect. Just be you. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. There's just a few key things that we would encourage you to not cross the line on to ultimately set up your clients for success. Don't give away the how before the what. You don't have to hide it. Like we don't hide anything. We want to protect their health journey. And if we give them the why, the full on, like, here's my website, that's not a connection. And they're going to put preconceived notions on it. We want them to have the skill set of focusing on their why. So we're not hiding anything, but it's really make the conversation connection. You know, they're going to ask a lot of questions. You don't have to hide any of the answers, but you know, if you realize you're going too far, you're not getting on the phone to actually talk about them. You'll know when you've answered too many questions. You're like, hey, let's just chat. Like at that point, you're just taking up too much time, you know, just going back and forth. And so that would be another thing. The first few calls, do them with your support team. Just simply ask them if they have a time and just be like, great, let's chat with my coach at this time. Like that extra value. So you can learn, and it's not like, it's just natural. It's just a conversation. So I think those are just the extra tips that I have here at the start. But if you guys mostly can just commit to being bold, pushing through that fear like Julie talked about here, focus on those first few steps. We gave you the first like place to funnel your attention to. But if you live out loud like this, you won't be able to stop people from coming to you. It's just how consistent are you going to be? And I'm just excited for the journey ahead for you. I appreciate you guys so much. Encourage you guys, like at the end of this month, we'll have a training. We'll know exactly what that looks like. But every time we do this training, we do it like in serious, so you can see all the basics of coaching. And you guys should be well above senior coach by then. You'll have your first few people go, and you'll have your first taste of success, momentum, lives changed. So just kind of mark your tentative calendars for that. But I think that's everything, Don. I think some great example. The chat blew up. There's also a whole training in the chat. Kelly's blowing up tips and advice in here. And I just appreciate you all. I think that's the biggest thing I want to get across this morning as we wrap up.
Yep. And congratulations for jumping started on your journey, your coaching journey, and be consistent. Reach out to your mentor. They will help you. And Brad, thank you. This morning was really great. I loved all the tangibles. And again, I wish we could get the chat, because the chat is totally a training in and of itself.
One more thing I want to add. I got some text messages. Hey, my post didn't take off this morning. Good. Facebook has algorithms. It's totally like you either catch fire or you don't. And again, at max, if you're really like, because Facebook is a platform for connecting. If you bring more value, they put you in front of people. That's just really what it is. So sometimes your posts just don't catch. If people don't see it, don't worry about it. It's just one of many. That's why we're saying post many, share authentically, not just like coaching too, like just share your life, make more connections. Facebook and social media, Instagram is about connecting people with people. So if you didn't get a post, maybe there's a few things you can work on with your support team to kind of help up your engagement in the algorithm, but just post your next one. Like that's all good. Like I've all had posts where like, I'm just like, Don, we had a conversation about the other day. I'm like, why did this post just not have any likes? It just probably just didn't show up in the newsfeed. It's all good. So if you didn't have it, don't worry about it. If your post took off, congratulations, like Brian's. But I think that's pretty much it. Just post consistently. And you never know who's watching or saw it that didn't actually take the time to like anything on it. Just like, but everything about your story tells someone a story.
Yep, exactly. Love it, Brad. If it didn't take off, just seriously post something in a couple of hours and see what else happens. Because all right, guys, have an amazing Saturday. Yep, share boldly, be consistent, dive in, do the heart work, create the conversations, create the connections, and that is the win right there. All
right, first 5 clients for all you newbies. Let's change some lives. That's the first goal. You have them out there. We showed you guys. Go help them and plant those seeds.
All right,
guys. Have a great day.
Good. Bye, everybody.